Say to you, it's a little bit chilly, and I hope the rain holds off for today. Thank you for tuning in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host for today, Quabila Harden. I am so happy to be back in the studio. I took off last week, but I'm happy to be back today. Alrighty, so today we have a very special guest. Her name is Tyneisha Renai Collins. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And she has written a book that I can't wait to get my hands on and read. I love the title. It's called I Am Queen.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's also starting a nonprofit. Write the book and start this program. But first, before we get into that, please give the listeners and viewers a little background about yourself.
My name is Tyneisha Renai Collins.
Okay.
I was born in New York, raised in Osceola, Arkansas.
Okay.
I am an '07 graduate of Osceola High School.
Okay.
I'm a 2012 graduate of ASU.
All right.
I currently reside in Osceola, where I am an educator for the Osceola School District.
What grade do you
I
teach?
actually work at the high school I graduated
Oh
from.
my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
It takes special people, one to work with the little bitty ones, and then ones to work with high school kids.
Yes, ma'am.
They're at that stage where I don't know, they're going through some emotional, psychological things as teenagers, so they can be a little difficult sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure it's very challenging and rewarding at the same time.
It is. I walk the halls sometimes at the high school, and I just really can't believe that I am now a teacher there.
Wow.
It's very amazing feeling.
That is wonderful. So now you can pass on your knowledge, experience, and hopefully bless the next one coming along, and
Yes, ma'am.
they can
Absolutely.
leave and move on to do bigger and better things just like you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get into this book. What prompted you to write this book?
Wow. I have always enjoyed reading and writing. English was my favorite subject
Okay.
in school. I always told myself when I was a little girl, one of the things that I desired to do was to one day write a book.
Okay.
I've been trying to write the book for about a decade now. I just kept putting it off. I think it was mainly because of fear.
Okay.
And I just really felt like I didn't have time. One day I just sat down and I was like, it's time.
It's
You know,
time.
I prayed about it. God told me to go ahead and write the book. So I decided to start the process. The book is basically my life story, my testimony. It talks about the things that I have experienced in my
Okay.
life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the
Okay.
mistakes, the ups and downs. And it talks about how I overcame certain things,
Okay.
and how I went through certain things and became the woman, the queen
Okay.
that I am today.
Alrighty. So I'm sorry, I forgot to mention early in the show, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can please leave your messages there or questions or comments for Tanisha, and the phone lines are open as well, 870-277-1080. So please give us a call. Share your testimony. If you know Tanisha, have some great, wonderful things to say about her, or if you've read her book, we would love to hear from you as well. Okay, so without giving away too much of the book, because we want people to purchase it, can you give us some details,
Sure,
some
of
insight?
The book talks a lot about my relationship with my mother.
Okay.
My mother didn't raise me, my grandma did, and it talks about the rejection that I dealt with throughout my life because my mother did not raise me and she was absent in my life. And as a little girl, that can really do some things
Yes.
mentally to you. So I talk about how I dealt with that during my childhood, and then my teenage years, and then going into my adulthood, how it affected me.
Okay.
And I also talk about the fact that I have no idea who my father is and how that affected me.
That people don't realize that plays a big role in a young girl's life.
Yes, ma'am.
Not having that father, or even if he's around, but he's still not there, not present in your life,
Yes, ma'am.
it makes a big impact on you.
It really does.
And so, talk about how, okay, so you've gone through these various things in your life. And again, we don't want to give away too much because we want people to read it. We want them to read your words and try to feel your story. You know, really feel the emotion you put behind the words. So going through, how did you overcome?
It was tough. Suffered from depression, suicidal thoughts, abusive relationships, low self-esteem. It was definitely a learning process. The first thing I had to do was sit down and look at myself.
Okay.
And realize and admit that there was in fact a problem. That's the first step. You have to admit that something is wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you don't realize that something is wrong, then you won't go to the next step, which is doing something about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had to look at myself and really be honest with myself and say, Tyneisha, something is wrong. You are hurting.
Okay.
And do something about it. So I had to go to therapy. I would write a lot. Prayer, just surround myself with positive people, my family and my friends. And I'm still not all the way where I need to be, but I am so much better, and I thank God for that.
Okay.
But it was definitely a learning process, and I am still learning.
Okay. You're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Tyneisha Renai Collins. She's the author of the book I Am Queen, which is about her where she's offering a scholarship. And so I would like to get into talking about that. I looked at the papers that you have posted, like the requirements. So let's go through what made you decide to start this program.
The I Am Queen scholarship is very, very dear to me and very, very important to me, because in my community, I feel like there's not as much encouragement in people around the community that are uplifting African American young ladies and encouraging them to seek out their greatness.
Okay.
So I wanted to come up with a scholarship for African American senior girls in my community that could encourage them to further their education.
Wonderful.
In hopes that they will one day come back and use what they learned in college to give back to the community.
That is wonderful. That's what a lot of these smaller communities really, really need. Those who have gone on to get education and come back and give back. I'm from Lee County, which is Mariana, and I've noticed that a lot of my classmates and those that were before me are now going back and doing just what you did. They're working in the school district. They're trying to help rebuild and repair the relationships and just trying to get the school and the kids back on track, some kind of track.
Yes, ma'am.
Along the way, somewhere, something got lost, and once it started deteriorating, it's like no one wanted to try to fix it. And again, you see that in a lot of smaller communities, Osceola, Blythe, Forest City, Mariana, all these rural, what are considered rural areas. So I'm sure that your community really, really appreciates you for coming back and giving back and trying to do even more to push the young girls into greatness, as you say. Okay, so let's talk about some of the details. The qualifications to apply, or the requirements.
I'm asking for at least a 2.5 GPA.
Okay.
I would love to see community service hours, because that's the main reason why I'm doing the scholarship.
Okay.
Because I would like for these young ladies to come back one day and give back to the community. So them having community service experience already would be a good start.
Community service helps one develop a deeper sense of self.
Yes,
It takes you outside of you, helps you to see the needs of others, and develop a little more compassion and empathy.
Yes, ma'am. And it's also a very humbling experience.
Yes, ma'am.
Community
Most definitely.
service will humble you.
Because you see people at their lowest point, or you see someone that has a different need than yours. And so you're like, wow, my situation is not as bad or dire as I thought it was.
Absolutely.
So have you partnered with any agency so far? Maybe once you get girls signed up. Oh, first of all, let me back up. When is the scholarship taking effect?
The scholarship is taking effect. Are you referring to when?
Like when do you see giving out maybe your first scholarship?
Actually, this year.
Okay.
for my graduating seniors for 2017.
Okay, so do you have quite a few that have already submitted applications?
Yes, ma'am, I have. Some young lady stopped me in the hallway. Miss Collins, I want you to look at my scholarship. Tell me if it's, up to
Okay.
par with what you're asking for. And I tell them, I can't help you with it. I'm the one that's, giving it away. But I can refer you to somebody in the school that can assist you.
Okay.
So that excites me to hear them come up to me and actually be interested.
That is wonderful. So do you have an advisory board for the scholarship
Yes,
program?
ma'am, I
Okay.
do.
And that's wonderful that you found people that are willing to work with you. They believe in your vision.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're willing to work with you to help. Wow, this is wonderful.
Awesome family. To have people that support you and believe in you, it means a lot. It really means a lot.
Yes, ma'am. And then so let's talk about some of these requirements. What are they required to do when they submit their application?
They 2 letters of recommendation. I'm asking for one of the letters of recommendation to be from any educator
Okay.
in the Osceola School District. It doesn't just have to be a high school educator. It can be any educator.
Okay.
And then I'm asking for one of the letters of recommendation to be from somebody that has given back to the community.
Okay.
A pastor, a school board member, a police officer, things like that.
Okay.
And then this is something that really makes my scholarship stand out. I ask for them to explain to me in their own words why they feel like they're a queen and how they feel like, how will they come back and give back to the community in the future. And I didn't ask for it to just be in an essay form. I wanted them to be able to express themselves how they would like. So I asked for an essay, a song, a poem, a video, a rap.
Wow.
I want them to tell me in any way
that
they
really
please
wonderful.
how they are a queen.
And I think that when you open the door, expand the possibilities of how they can be expressive, it allows them to like really dig deep and say,
Yes,
okay, and you get to see more of who they are versus them just writing words on a paper. Not everyone is a great writer.
Yes, ma'am.
Some people, they can speak well, but they might not can write like they speak, or vice versa, or it just allows them to be more creative, and you get to see them. You get to see their personality.
And it's so much fun being able to do it your way
Yes.
versus somebody telling you to do it one way.
Yes, ma'am. Wow, I'm really excited. Okay. Let's see, and then a most recent transcript,
Yes, ma'am.
and then the community service hours, like you mentioned before, and then proof of college enrollment. That's wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want them to already have applied and been accepted somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
That is okay. Now, do you already have an amount set for the scholarship on how much you're going to give?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing $500
Okay.
for the fall semester and the spring semester.
And that's definitely going to buy books. Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Any freshman knows that books will eat you up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm looking to make it an annual thing, and God's willing, I'll be able to give more and more each year, because I'm using some of the proceeds from my book sales to fund the scholarship, along with my own personal money. So hopefully it'll grow, keep growing and growing, and maybe one year I'll be able to send somebody to school for free. We don't know what God will do in the future.
I say that all the time. Some people stress over some small things that they can't control right now. But I'm like, if you say you have faith in God,
Absolutely.
petition Him about it, give Him thanksgiving for it, and leave it alone. Let Him work out the steps on how it's going to get done.
Yes,
This is really wonderful. So let's talk a little bit more about the book. Can you give us some more? I don't know. I don't want you to give away too much, but can you give us some more of what's in the book?
Yes, ma'am. The book actually takes you on a journey. It goes from birth up until now.
Okay.
So any and everything that I've experienced throughout my life, all the feelings and disappointments and triumphs,
Okay.
it walks you through all of that. So anything that you need to know about Tyneisha will be in I Am Queen.
So have you done any public speaking to a group of young girls concerning your book and concerning what it means to be a queen and try to elevate themselves no matter what they're going through in their lives?
As of now, I have not did
Okay.
any speaking engagements. I have two lined up in May.
Okay.
But in my spare time, like when I'm in the hallway and I see those young ladies, I'm always
Okay.
trying to speak something into them. And then on my Facebook page, I always post things to try to inspire them
Okay.
and uplift them. But I definitely have a lot to say, so I look forward to having those speaking engagements because it's really important that I be able to reach them because somebody out there is hurting or going
Yes,
through
ma'am.
something, and I need to let them know that I once experienced the same thing.
Yes.
Guess what? You can get through this.
That's right. A lot of young girls, or I know I keep saying young girls, even sorry boys, males. We're not trying to exclude you, but many people know that there's just something about girls. They need some encouragement. They need someone to just really grab them sometimes and say, "I see you. I hear you. I want to help you."
Right.
Because one thing that I learned from teenagers, they're not going to tell you what they need because they're kind of stubborn.
Yes,
They're like, "I'm fine. I'm good. I got this." That's their favorite. Like, "I'm good," but deep inside they're not. And then their behavior starts to reflect what's inside. They're not good. They are dealing with some things, and they maybe cry alone when they can open up to someone else that can really help them. Okay, let's try to decipher what's going on with you. I talk to a few young girls that I go to church with, and I really try to reach out and help them. There's so many more that need help, though, so I'm really hoping that many young ladies are inspired and benefit from what you have to offer. I hope they get your book and read your story, and they start to make some changes in their own lives.
Yes, ma'am. I wrote the book in hopes that this would be an example
Okay.
of God's grace and mercy.
Okay.
I think that in today's generation, when we were growing up, it was our parents were like, "Do as I say, not as I do." In this generation, you cannot approach this generation with that.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to be completely honest with them. You have to say the things that you were doing, I have done.
Yes.
You have to let them know I did this and I did that and I made these mistakes and these were the consequences. And I'm telling you this because I do not want you to experience the same consequences as well. So that's why I put everything in this book.
Okay.
And I was kind of afraid to put everything in this book that I have experienced and been through because who wants to, be completely honest and tell the whole world I made this mistake and I did this and I failed this time, and who really wants to do that? So I prayed about it and I said, "God, what do you want me to do?" He said, "Tell it all or don't tell it at all."
Oh my
So
goodness.
put every single thing in this book because I know that by me being completely honest, somebody is going to be healed. Somebody is going to decide I don't need to commit suicide. Somebody is going to leave that abusive relationship alone. So I'm praying that this book reaches as many young girls and women as possible so we can start to make some changes in our daily lives.
Yes, ma'am. Now, when you were going through your point of, okay, I need to come out of what I'm going through, all the negative and negativity, did you face any rejection? Like, when you mentioned that you went to counseling or, you saw a therapist. Did you face any rejection? Like, why are you going to a therapist? What's wrong with you? One thing, especially about the African American community, we don't like to seek help.
Yes,
we think we have it all under control for the majority. And we think getting professional help says there's something wrong with me. So what was that experience like?
It was very challenging because I'm an African American and I'm a woman as well. We're always supposed to be so strong.
Yes.
And if something is going on, we're supposed to mask and hide it. And after a certain amount of time, you just get tired of that. I just got tired of going through the motions just every single day, just hiding behind my pain, trying to act as if everything was okay. And I just really needed that help. Like I was just fed up with going through things. So when people said negative things, it kind of bothered me. But I knew that I had to get this help. They didn't know what I was facing. They didn't know that I may have went home if I had not got that help and committed suicide or went back to that abusive relationship. They didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. So that was my drive.
Okay. Well, we really thank you so very much, Miss Tyneisha, for joining us today. And again, her book is called I Am Queen. Where is it available?
jkincaid.com, which is my publisher's website,
Okay.
and iamqueen.net, which is my personal website.
So you can find Tyneisha on Facebook and Instagram, and we will have some information listed under the video. Thank you so much for tuning in to Community Conversations. Don't go away. We'll be right back with part 2.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Would you want your daughter to marry someone like you? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. The old saying goes that girls often choose husbands who are like their dads. How does that sit with you? Our girls are watching us for an example of what to expect from their future spouse. Are you kind to your wife? Do you encourage her? What about your daughter? Do you hug her and tell her you love her? Are you there when she needs you? If you aren't, it's not too late to change. Sit down with your daughter and talk about the things you've done